Time to play another one. And this is in our browser-based game. Spellslinger of Xandabar is my entry for the SunDRL 2025 Game Jam. You are a wizard in a land of malleable magic, and you're tasked with sealing away the evil that lurks under the town. Craft your own spells out of ruins and fight your way through the 8-level dungeon until you reach the mystical orb of MacGuffin. Then return safely with it to win. The version of the game playable here is currently the SunDRL version. You can also play the latest version, or this version, at the game's official site. So, it was made by an Ecolis, and I guess we got ourselves a traditional dungeon crawl here. Lots of traditional roguelikes this time around. Nice to see. So, in the land of Xandabar, magic is malleable. Wizards, known as Spellslingers, are able to craft their own spells out of magical ruins. You are a visitor to Xandabar, learning their ways of magic, when you happen across a town plagued by great evil. No one else dares to face the evil, so you take it upon yourself to do so. You must ascend through the 8 ever-changing floors of the dungeons beneath the town, retrieve the orb of MacGuffin from the clutches of evil who sleeps there, and return to the surface safely to seal away the evil once and for all. So it's by an Ecolis, made for SunDRL Challenge, Game Jam. Begin game. Alright, so use arrow keys Z, X, C, V, B, M, and M to cast spells. Space to climb stairs. Alright, so select the character Pyro, Force, and I'm just going to pause at this point. I mean, it's cool to have music, but you know, that gets repetitive very quickly. Alright, so select the character Pyro. Force and fire runes, resist fire, vulnerable to ice. Cryo, basically like, you know, ice. Arrow, air, geo, earth, viz. Force rune only, very high strength. Magus, all elemental runes except force. Low strength, toughness, very high memory. Vegan and earth runes, low toughness, high willpower, or warp. Force, warp, ascend, and descend runes. We're going to go for something traditional, so let's go for geo maybe. Alright, so you are in the town. It is pleasant here, but you know you must soon enter the dungeon to face the evil that lurks there. I have free strength, free toughness, free willpower, free memory, health of 15 of 15, stamina 6 of 6, reserves 15 of 15, mana 6 of 6. I wonder what reserves are. Experience 0, gold 0, melee spells, general spells. So we got Force Fist, Earth Guard, and Power Earth Guard. So maybe a couple of defensive spells and like, you know, one offensive spell. So craft spells. Alright, so spell crafting. So we have Force Fist. Projects a short range ethereal fist made of pure kinetic energy. We have Earth Guard. Heals the caster and blasts adjacent enemies with hard stones to knock them back. So it's like a defensive like, you know, Nova. The heals. Power Earth Guard. Heals the caster and blasts adjacent enemies with hard stones to knock them back. So probably much more powerful. Known spells, so those are my known spells. And no AVG, you don't need to talk right now. So there's like, you know, Force Fist. Damage scales with strength and willpower, so the more strength and willpower I basically have, the stronger it gets. MP cost is free. Elemental Force. Force. Directional input, yes. Power 6, range 1. We can examine this one. So Earth Guard. So details healing, damage, and knockback with skill with toughness. So it's a toughness ability. It's got MP cost of 6. Elements is earth. And then we'll examine this. And you know, yeah, it's just the same thing, except it's probably more powerful. Yeah. Power goes up by like, you know, 3. Okay, I can't exactly create any new spells because you know, not enough like runes for it, but whatever. Maybe we'll find something. So we got a shop here. We have fire. I don't have any gold to buy stuff, but you know, we can see like, you know, we can buy stuff to get like more spells perhaps. There's training. You're in a rather seedy part of town. Various trainers offer to improve your abilities if you put in an effort. So strength determines melee damage and number of melee spell slots. So maybe I have to have like, you know, more like strength before we get more melee spells. That's something to keep in mind. Willpower determines stamina, mana, critical chance, and max runes per spell. Memory. Determine number of prepared spell slots, reserves, mana, teleport resistance, chance to learn more runes from defeated enemies. Toughness determines health, stamina, and knockback resistance. And speed determines how often you get a turn. Okay, well, let's just go into a dungeon. And the music, like, you know, changes. Okay, so numpad isn't helping here. So that's kind of annoying, by the way, but apparently, like, you know, there is no, like, you know, 8 directional movement. But the cursor keys work. Waz doesn't. And I can't move into walls. There's something here to interact with. Okay. Pure doesn't do anything. So Geomage hits the ice golem, 3 damage. The Geomage casts Force Fist. So I'm not going to use our melee spell, but basically like melee. The kinetic actually impacts the ice golem. The ice golem is exhausted. Okay. So the Geomage hits the ice golem for 3 damage. He's exhausted. I use Force Fist. And he's going down quickly. Oh, you know what? My reserves basically are like my reserve mana, perhaps. So Geomage gains Ice Golems 10 experience and 10 gold. The blob hits me for 2 damage, so we take a little bit of, like, you know, stamina damage there. Alright, so Geomage hits the blob for 3 damage, is exhausted. The Geomage casts Force Fist. The Geomage mana is depleted. Well, I already know it's depleted, so we're using reserves. The cat actually impacts the blob is exhausted, and down it goes. Alright, so we kill off the blob. And now my stamina, my, like, you know, mana's coming back. Oh, we killed a hedgehog apparently there by accident. I guess hedgehogs are very, very fast. Now I noticed that the AI is very simple. They're basically like moving directly toward me, but that's where like they can actually like get to me or not. So stupid AI, but you know, whatever. I'll note that we have like a shield system, which is very interesting, so. Again, we're just going to turn it off. I don't mind like the fact there is like, you know, sound, but it gets a little bit like repetitive again, so. I don't know if you need like a longer like, you know, sound or just like more sound or whatever, but whatever. Okay, let's go this way. I kind of wish I had a wait button. But oh well. Alright, well, we had to use up a little bit of like, you know, our reserves there, but you know, we'll go to the next level and see what's here. Spacebar to interact with this. So yeah, space to climb stairs. Whatever. Now what's an eye do? So this is an imp. It's now a very dead imp. There goes the hedgehog. The slug is exhausted. The slug is exhausted. Oh, this guy's fast, I guess. How to use my reserves to kill him. Yes, cutting is a thing, sort of, because you got like reserves, so you may want to use space in order to like make use of it. Okay, so this is an Earth Golem here. I wonder how much damage we're gonna do to an Earth Golem. Now, note by the way, like with like melee, we're basically automatically like, just like bleeding stuff, but if I want to, I could probably use like my Earth Guard or something like that to sort of like knock these guys back. He'll hit me for a little bit of damage, I guess. Blam. Blam. There goes the Earth Golem. Now note that the Imp cast Fire Wave there for a little bit and it depleted himself. I get hit, that's fine. Now I am quite interested in the system they basically have here because I've always liked the idea of shield systems in games. And I don't really see it often really. It's basically people just have like the static single health bar. But this is cool enough. So then our blob. Dead blob. Alright, there's the second level cleared. So far we haven't really basically found anything really inspiring enemy wise. This is throw it out there, so that probably could be better. Let's smack you a little bit. Now, here's something to note by the way. If I basically cast a spell here, am I going to use two of my reserves? No. I wonder if the reserves are working properly because basically when we basically have less mana than what we need to cast, we don't actually use the reserve there, so maybe it's doing right. It's just the fact that we're basically regenerating first and then we're really casting. There goes that guy. Let's hit this guy a little bit. Just slug a little bit. I'm not sure if we're regenerating 2 mana per turn or 1 mana per turn, so that might be a bit of an, what's this happening right there? Can you guys go hit me for free damage? That's fine. But note basically if I cast here, it goes down by 3. If I cast again, we have 1 left. So I'm worrying a little bit about the regeneration system here a little bit, but whatever. I cast there. I guess I probably regenerated 1 MP there, and then we cast and we use it our mana. That's probably what's happened basically. I'm regenerating pretty fast. Yeah, it looks like we regenerate 2 mana per turn sometimes, but yeah, sometimes I only get 1. I wonder how our stamina works. Well, I'm being hit, obviously, that's what's happening, so. I'm not sure, like, health is being, like, you know, accurately, like, you know, oh, it hit me right here, so, okay. We kill you. Blast that ice golem a little bit. Another golem over here to fight. You know, I have to wonder if like these guys have like levels or stuff like that, because I see like freeze and stuff like that next to these guys, so maybe they're getting a little bit tougher. Whoops, used the reserve there, I guess. Well, down our dungeon level, I guess. Okay, now we're getting some different enemies here. Wow, the ninja just automatically killed me. Okay. Not sure like the ninja should be that tough, but you know, whatever, you're like, you know, we're really like do anything special. Alright, let's enter the dungeon again with like the fire, like, you know, pyromancer here. Note that he's got fire wave and power fire wave right there, so cast spells. So fire wave is basically blast nearby enemies in one direction with searing flames, and fire wave basically blast enemies in one direction, so you know, power 6, element fire, directional yes. I guess there should probably be more enemy variety, by the way, because like it seems like it's a little bit too how do I put this? What's here is fine, but like, you know, the first few levels are just like, you know, a little bit like, you know, too repetitive, and then it gets like the 4th level and like, you know, a ninja kills you, so big jump in like enemy like difficulty, honestly. Alright, everything's dead. Alright, so we went up here a little bit. We got some experience in gold. I don't get experience to buy anything, but you know, there goes the shop. So focus. Shortens the range of the spell, but greatly increases its power. For vegan, imbues a spell with visible vegan power of kale, making it more powerful but affecting stamina only, not health, and adding knockback. Interesting. And there's like, you know, fire, ice, and earth. Oh, look at that. So actually regenerates the dungeon by when we basically go in here again. Interesting. Let's try a fire wave. So let's select direction, and we did fire wave right there. The imp resists searing flames because he's basically an imp, so doesn't take much damage. Let's kill off you. Kill off you. Well, let's go off these easy guys, I guess. Let's get rid of that for now. Alright, we used up a little bit of our stamina and health, but it's fine. There's the next level. What's a V? So an alien vortex. So there is like different enemies. I just wasn't getting them for some reason. Unfortunately, but whatever. So these guys are casting spells, by the way, but at the same time, I guess they're like, you know, getting exhausted a lot. So Slug hit me for 2 damage. There you go. Now, it's worth knowing that basically if you look at these guys, you actually see they actually have like MP and like, you know, stuff like that on top of them. So you can see like the imp has like an MP bar over his like, you know, stamina bar or like, you know, his HP bar. That's a thing. Why I basically keep saying they're exhausted, like, you know, here, but whatever. You're dead. We'll try, let's try a power fire wave. Okay, so the ice is vulnerable to searing flames. He's exhausted. We'll try like a fire wave. Yeah, I wonder if like, you know, if we be hit by our own blast, by the way, so that might be a thing. Blast you. You hit me here, that's kind of annoying. It's stupid AI, but I mean, it's not like, you know, necessarily like, you know, so weak that can't like not hurt me, so that is a thing. So this guy basically hurts the, like, you know, alien vortex. I am almost dead. I think we want to leave. I think this is the right way basically back up. We want to go up. That's fine. Why not, we'll kill these guys. Probably shouldn't, like, you know, experiment with like 1 HP, so we'll go back here. Turn off the music once more. So we got 9 experience basically to work off with here, so I can recall a dungeon level 2 apparently when you have like the gold for it. It's good to know. I can craft spells and shop. So we have Earth Guard, Ice, and Fire. Let's buy this. And we're going to buy Ice. We'll search for some more, you know, more stuff here. We have the money to buy like air, I guess, or force, so maybe we'll buy this. And I guess we don't have the gold basically to buy stuff, so we return to town. So yeah, we go up, use up our gold. We can craft some spells here. So add to spell, you know, other stuff. How does this work? So we want maybe like, Earth. So Earth Guard. And we'll learn to spell. So now I know, like, Earth Guard there. Why is it not showing up here? Does it have to basically, like, update, I guess, maybe? Let's get, Ice Storm, add to spell. Learn spell. Then we got, like, Force Fist. And maybe we can, like, get our one. So there's like Power Force spell. So protects a short range, Emerald Fist magic. Cost 6, power 9. So you begin to like double these guys basically up in order to get like more powerful spells. I am seeing a small issue, by the way. Just like Moon is not like scrolling, by the way. So if I want obviously like get like say like fire. Yeah, there's no way for me to basically see the spells. Like you haven't made this like scrollable this window. So another like sort of like issue to sort of like work on. Let's go like this for a moment, just to like sort of drop those a little bit. So there's Ice Storm, blasting by enemies with like fissure rifles, penetrates walls, Urban Guard. So add to spell. So the more stuff basically add like down here, the further these like buttons get down. So I can learn like the Power 4 Fist, but I can't have like multiple things here. Let's like we get rid of them first. There's a question. I have like multiple like elements here and stuff like that I could actually learn. If I go like say like Force and Fire. So there's Fire Fist, basically protects the short range Emerald Fist made of pure searing flames. So that's basically a Fire Fist. So basically now I can like hit stuff with like fire in face. Now I got empty slots here by the way, so I have to like fix that. But let's just see here. I want to go with like fire and ice. What's this do? So there's Ice Wave. Blast nearby enemies in one direction of searing flames. Changes the element of the spell to ice and slightly increases the power. So now we got like an Ice Wave as opposed to like a Fire Wave. I can learn this. So now I got like Ice Wave as opposed to like Fire Wave. We have Ice and Fire maybe. So there's Fire Storm. Blast nearby all enemies in direction of searing flames, penetrates walls. So now I can basically blast stuff through the wall. We have Earth right here. And again, I basically can't see below down here because like, even though I basically have like all this stuff basically like, learned, I can't like see down here because like, you haven't made the, does that work? No, I need to hide it. Like, this is honestly like, not maybe if I was with a scroll bar here and it's like really needed, honestly. You got a scroll bar here, but improvements are needed. How to return to town now? There we go. Well, let's just prepare stuff with what we got here, I guess. So note that I actually set this to be melee this stuff here if I want to, but whatever, let's go melee this. And then we want like Power Force Fist, so prepare. And then let's go with Firestorm through the wall. So there's my spells prepared. Let's do a little training. I got this training for it. So strength determines melee damage and number of melee spell slots. So let's train this. Willpower turns stamina, mana, critical hit chance, and max wounds per slot. Memory turns number of spell slots, reserves, mana, teleport resistance, and chance to learn runes from defeated enemies. You look at that. So a little bit of this. So maybe a little more like health. A little bit faster. I don't got any empty slots yet, so I guess you need to train a little bit more before you like get your stats up for that sort of thing. But you know, whatever. Let's enter a dungeon. Let's kill off the hedgehog. I start blasting, so to speak. Okay, so that's done. Let's start blasting. Got a golem coming for me. Alright, I want to try this. So X is Firestorm. We're going to cast this through the wall and blast the hedgehog that way. That took a little bit of my reserves to do, but you know, whatever, it's fine. Okay, we got Power Force Fist. So basically, the kind of energy hits the Earth Golem for 11 damage. He's exhausted. And then, like, you know, use that basically him again for the normal one, just to 7 damage. So basically, you do more damage with the Power Fist, but you know, it costs you like double the cost for it. So you just try to cast a spell at me, you bastard. Power Fire Wave. So he's trying to cast spells through the walls, this guy. Good to know. Kill off this imp. Kill off this slug. I kind of feel by the way that, like, you know, regeneration shouldn't happen, like, you know, before, like, you cast your spell, but, like, you know, maybe after. Okay, this guy's free. This guy's a level 5 creature, maybe, so I resist the Searing Flames, I guess, because I'm basically, like, you know, that sort of character, but whatever. So smack. Smack him again, he's exhausted. Smack him again. Okay, I died, so he killed me somehow there. Well, I think we've done enough to sort of, like, you know, show off like some of the you know, ideas of this game here. But let's just see if I can, like, you know, see something else here. So this guy's got very high strength, but he can actually have like 2 force fists, I guess. So yeah, basically like more strength, you can basically get like more slots. That's just how that works. All right, well, that's basically Spellslinger of Xandabar. A neat little idea. It's got a few, like, you know, issues, I think, of, like, you know, playing a game, but otherwise it works fine. So take care.